Be prepared. Tonight, we're going on a journey, or if you will, we'll be traveling through time. Imagine taking a flight today and safely landing, but 37 years later. What's the story? A bizarre journey we've all heard of. We've always believed it was inspired by science fiction filmmakers. But what will shock you is the truth that emerges from it. Flight 914. Dear readers, today's journey is about a mysterious flight, perhaps the longest flight in the history of modern aviation. A flight on board an airplane that took off for a specific destination, but landed in a completely different one. That's not even the strangest part, since the plane landed 37 years later. How is that possible? Is this a myth or what? Let's find out as we travel together today on Flight 914. Before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any new videos. We aim to reach 1,000 subscribers to continue the channel. A mystery that perplexed scientists for 37 years, Flight 912, or as some call it, time travel, took off from New York Airport on the morning of July 2nd, 1955, en route to the American city of Miami. The flight was supposed to last only a few hours, but the plane disappeared, and radar towers could no longer track it or communicate with it. The aircraft did not emit any distress signals or report any technical issues. Communication was suddenly lost, and the plane vanished without a trace. Search and rescue operations began along the flight's expected path, but proved unsuccessful in finding any evidence of its wreckage or any trace of the people on board. The search area expanded amid widespread controversy across the United States in 1955. Eventually, the plane's crash was announced in a location inaccessible to rescue teams, and the airline compensated the families of the victims due to its negligence. However, is this story true? The story, as narrated by an American newspaper, 37 Years in the Sky. After 37 years since the plane's disappearance, a surprise occurred. On the morning of September 9, 1992, Juan de la Corte, an air traffic controller, was going about his usual duties in the control tower at Caracas Airport in Venezuela. He was taken aback when he noticed a black spot on the radar screen, initially thinking it was a technical glitch. However, his shock deepened when he realized that what he was seeing was an old airplane dating back to the 1950s. He also received a call from the plane's captain with a perplexing question. "Where are we?" Juan asked the captain to identify himself and provide information about the flight, and the response left the control tower personnel in disbelief. The captain said, "I am the captain of American Flight 914, a Douglas DC-3 model, departing from New York and heading to Miami." This revelation was a significant surprise in the control tower because the details provided by the plane's captain matched those of a flight that had disappeared 37 years earlier. The plane had deviated off course by approximately 1,800 kilometers. The airport decided to send assistance to ensure the well-being of the passengers and crew, and upon reaching the plane, the captain was informed that they were not at Miami Airport, but rather at Caracas Airport in Venezuela. Furthermore, they were told that the date was September 9th, 1992. Upon hearing the news, the plane took off to disappear once again, despite the airport sending aircraft to track it. The flight left no trace except for a calendar from the year 1955, which the captain had thrown before taking off from the airport. This time, its disappearance didn't last long. The flight arrived in the city of Miami, just as planned 37 years prior. Authorities did not permit the passengers to meet their families to facilitate investigations into the flight's events. The significant surprise, according to the American newspaper, was that the 57 passengers appeared to be the same age and in the same condition as they were in 1955, without aging a single year. This raised doubts about the story's authenticity. During the investigations, neither the passengers nor the flight crew answered any questions posed by the investigators, except to state that they were headed to Miami from New York Airport on June 2nd, 1955. The reasons for the flight's disappearance remain mysterious to this day, with no explanation from American authorities, leading to increasing questions, especially with the story spreading in newspapers and on television channels. Some of the strangest theories about the disappearance of Flight 91T, perhaps one of the most bizarre theories following the appearance of Flight 914 in 1992, is time travel through a time portal or wormhole. Instead of landing in Miami on the morning of July 2nd, 1955, it is assumed that the flight appeared in Venezuela 37 years after its departure. It is suggested that it returned through the same wormhole after leaving Venezuela. However, this peculiar hypothesis lacks scientific confirmation. Another theory that gained traction immediately after the news broke, especially among enthusiasts of such mysteries, is related to the Bermuda Triangle. Some believe that the aircraft definitely crossed over the Bermuda Triangle and encountered something inexplicable within it, leading to its disappearance for this period and covering this distance. However, this theory is inaccurate since the aircraft did not suffer any harm, and all incidents related to the Bermuda Triangle resulted in the destruction of aircraft and the sinking of ships. On the other hand, believers in extraterrestrial factors in space have linked the incident to aliens. They believe that the plane was abducted by extraterrestrials with the intention of developing their flying saucers. However, these attempts failed, leading to the release of the plane and its passengers in 1992. The truth about the disappearance of Flight 914, after numerous investigations and inquiries into the incident, the most logical explanation for what happened has emerged. Reports indicate that the first mention of this flight was in 1985 by the Weekly World News newspaper. This newspaper was notorious for publishing numerous stories lacking credibility, yet they gained wide popularity. In the present day, online websites dedicated to debunking false facts and fabricated stories, such as Fact Check and Snopes, conducted the necessary investigations. They confirmed that the roots of the story trace back to 1985 in an article published in the Weekly World News newspaper. The article discussed Flight 914. The fact that the newspaper revisited and republished the story in both 1993 and 1999 raised suspicions among investigators. The variations in the years mentioned for the plane's landing, along with the inclusion of 3 different photos of the air traffic controller at Caracas Airport in Venezuela each time the article was published, strongly suggest that the story might be fabricated. In conclusion, my friends, in a world where fiction and reality blend, especially today, with the prevalence of individuals claiming to be in different times on social media, whether in the future or the past, no one truly knows. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment about the video, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any new videos. We aim to reach 1,000 subscribers to continue the channel.